The cultural artifacts I have chosen to analyze are the shows El Señor de los Cielos and Señora de Acero. Both broadcast on the same network, the Telemundo programs have a reach of over 4.4 million viewers combined. Those are the ratings for just the premiere nights of both of these shows. With a strong cultural influence and the ability to stop people in their tracks, telenovelas have an important role in the societal hierarchy and daily lives of the Spanish-speaking American community. Telenovelas follow a similar format and allow a generalization for the sake of this analysis. However, there are some exceptions to the generalization, and they are seen in the more recent telenovelas being released. Just to get some context going, I'd like to show you the real Amado Carrillo Fuentes versus Aurelio Casillas that is portrayed on the show El Señor de los Cielos, and there is a huge difference. Telenovelas have a way of creating an unobtainable ideal for women who watch them. I know I will never look like Blanca Soto, Maite Perroni, or Araceli Arambula, and I am more than okay with that. The leading men usually have chiseled bodies, are ridiculously attractive, and are tall. Their supporting characters are usually the average/overweight men, shorter, darker skinned, or the average Joes. Unfortunately, young children are exposed to these ideals early on in their lives, and they don't realize that these people don't look like that in real life. I have a 9-year-old cousin who doesn't miss one of her shows, ever. Already I can see the influence that these women are having on her, and she is beginning to wish that she was thinner, whiter, prettier, and had blonde hair. The reality is that most people who watch these telenovelas look nothing like that. And they have a very warped way of viewing themselves, and it is not just the novelas that perpetuate the self-hating trope, but the media that they come in contact with. The women in telenovelas are hyper-sexualized and often overshadowed by the masculine love interests. It is rare that a true powerful female lead is shown in a telenovela. If she initially is shown as a strong female lead, as soon as the male love interest becomes a part of the equation, the female character begins to act submissive and develops the damsel in distress trope. And if she is a strong female character, she is shown as the violent type or a villain or out seeking vengeance. And there are a few exceptions, but they usually fall short of the true female lead. For example, in the show Betty la Fea, the lead character is an ugly duckling, so to speak. Throughout the show, she becomes beautiful and then everybody loves her. Again, this does not help with the issues of body image, appearance, and self-esteem issues that the viewers have. Body image issues are a big part of the Spanish-speaking community, and if you ask somebody, they will most likely tell you, I would prefer to be thinner and look like that celebrity. Not only is it a problem in the Spanish-speaking community, but a problem in our society in general. Studies have been done that show that most women think this way. Based on a study done by Contento, the message in Betty la Fea is, if you become attractive, you will have friends that get the man of your dreams. Now, what kind of message is this sending out? The female lead characters in telenovelas are usually in good shape, have impeccable makeup and hair, are ridiculously attractive, and that's even on their bad days. I recall watching a novela where the villain was in jail. She had been in jail for several months, but her hair and makeup were perfect. She even had nail art going on. I feel like they should make this more realistic. That's what the makeup department is there for. And I've seen countless other parts where they've been sick, or they just woke up, or they're about to go to bed and they have perfect hair and makeup. But the truth is, these actresses spend hours in dressing rooms. They have an entourage of stylists and have most likely had some sort of cosmetic procedures done. They don't even look like themselves. They probably don't even remember what they look like before they started the business. My point here is that nobody can look like that, not even the actresses and actors in the shows. With a strong cultural influence and the ability to stop people in their tracks, telenovelas have an important role in the societal hierarchy and the daily lives of the Spanish-speaking American community. Telenovelas follow a similar format and allow a generalization for the sake of this analysis. However, there are some exceptions to the generalization, and they are seen in the more recent telenovelas being released. As a Latina, I grew up watching telenovelas, and I can say that most of them follow a predictable and often reflect an exaggerated view of the daily lives of the Spanish-speaking community. I speak from first-hand experience and almost 15 years of telenovela viewing experience. I don't think I can add that to my LinkedIn resume. I don't think it doesn't count as a skill. I'm very knowledgeable in novelas. There is an irony to telenovelas. While they are portraying the regular way of life, they are still doing it in a way that comes across as fake. And a common occurrence in the programs is the exaggeration of common gender roles and an almost homophobic approach to any characters that would be defined as LGBTQ. Telenovelas are an iconic staple to the Latino community. However, they are perpetuating a falsehood of ideals to which nobody can live up to. I decided to look into my own experience and try to delve into the mindset behind telenovelas. Around 1999, the 90s, so not that long ago, it was when I began to really notice telenovelas and take interest. They were a daily family activity, and we would usually watch them during dinner and talk about them. The finale of a telenovela meant that there would be a viewing party and that the TV was going to be on that channel the entire day. If you changed the channel, everybody would hate you for a week. And if they missed what happened to Ignacio because of you, everybody would hate you for a month. Just, you don't touch the TV. And if a telenovela was ending, it was like the death of a family member or an old friend saying goodbye. People really took them that serious, and they still do. As a kid, I enjoyed the feelings of togetherness that came from these shows. Telenovelas have the power to bring people across nations together, and it is a beautiful concept to think about. I mean, if we can get that many people together with just a novela, imagine the impact that we could have if we got people together and if we used it somehow to get people to come together for a good cause. Instead of talking about the plans that Maria has to murder Sofia Fernanda de la Malquerida or something. The demographic for telenovelas is a general Spanish-speaking public. According to the Telemundo network description, if you look it up on their website, that's what it says. Or Wikipedia. I Wikipedia'd it. Pretty sure it's accurate. Most of the people watching these programs are working class, regular people, and the majority of the Spanish-speaking American population. Most of us are brown, have brown eyes, and have dark hair. But it is common in telenovelas for them to cast a protagonist lighter than any human being. Like that's what they look like. That's like who they cast. And then everybody wants to look like this. We don't all look like that. We're not all that white. This whitewashing is perpetuating the body image negativity that is created with telenovelas. The issue here is that the darker skinned actors and actresses are being cast as supporting characters or as background characters. There are a few exceptions, but they are far outweighed by the majority of the lighter skinned lead actors. So I really don't want to go into that. Telenovelas have been an iconic staple in the Latino community since they first appeared, according to Stavans in his article, Teaching Telenovelas, and they continue to have a major influence on the way the society has developed and grown as a whole. And I chose to focus on, the reason I chose to focus on El Señor de los Cielos and Señor Acero. Both of these telenovelas are broadcast on Telemundo. Telemundo is an American Spanish language broadcast television network. The network broadcasts programs, including several produced by the network itself, aimed at the Hispanic and Latino Americans in the U.S. and audiences around the world, featuring a mix of telenovelas, sports, reality, television series, news programming, and feature films. With over an average of 2.3 million viewers in 2013, El Señor de los Cielos alone has become very popular in the audiences ages 18 through 49, which is most of the people who watch these novelas. All the young people and their parents. I'm pretty sure little kids watch them too. They just included the 18 to 49-year-olds. More people watch them. Señora Acero has ranked over 2.1 million viewers since its premiere this year. The numbers have continually increased, filmed by the same company. Both these shows are filmed by the same company. And both of these shows take a modern approach to the telenovela. They're more dramatic, action-packed, and edgier. They have more of a super series aspect than the actual telenovela feel. El Señor de los Cielos is a dramatized historical account of Amado Carrillo Fuentes, also known as El Señor de los Cielos, the infamous former head of the Juarez cartel in Mexico. He got his nickname because he would use commercial jets to transport cocaine. His name, El Señor de los Cielos, literally translates to the man of the skies. In the series, he is known as Aurelio Casillas, one of Mexico's biggest drug lords in the 90s. The network summarizes the show as a story full of action, emotions, unbridled passions, luxuries, miseries, intrigue, and dizziness, whatever that means, symbolizing the eternal struggle between good and evil. This is all on the website. You can look this up on their website. While it claims to be about Aurelio Casillas, there is still an element of the traditional telenovela present in the unbridled passions and the luxuries, emotions, and dizziness. Whatever dizziness is. Are you going to get dizzy from watching this show? I don't know what this means. And the eternal struggle between good and evil. um, they're just, I don't know. The show presents a warped and sugar-coated view of the life and practices of the cartels in Mexico. While it showcases fragments of the violence and ruthlessness that Amado Carrillo Fuentes was known for, the actor they chose adds his dramatically good looks to the picture, and it detracts from the story when they toss in romantic love scenes with the drug lord. I'm pretty sure that this guy did not have time to roll around in bed with several women. Oh, maybe he did. He's a drug dealer. Maybe he did. But this guy has romances like every week with different women. I don't know. I thought you were the head of the cartel. Why do you have so much free time? It almost seems like the network wants us to like this ruthless murderer. Drug lord. Remember, he's a drug lord? Yeah, but he's ridiculously attractive, so it's okay. We can like him. There are a lot of questionable scenes that prove to be more for the sake of ratings, rather than to portray the story, and it also shows a glimpse into the machista and patriarchal practices of Mexican men. They do so by showing mostly macho and tough men in the series. There are many that are hyper-masculine because most of the beliefs in the system are that men need to be tough and not show emotion. This is typical of most Mexican men. If they cry, they say something like, "Oh, I'm not crying. I have allergies." Nobody shows emotions. It's weird. We're all emotionally constipated. This creates a hypocritical situation where we want to hate Aurelio, but we can't help but love his crazy antics. Oh, and he's a supermodel in real life, so he's kind of hot. But he's a murderer. Hot? Murderer? Drug cartel? But he's really hot. So viewers focus more on that he's really attractive. I don't know. This is up to you to decide. You look at him. Yeah. I don't even know. Anyway, he is responsible for the murders of several people. He's always murdering people. He's ruthless. He murders people. I'm pretty sure he killed thousands of people. I don't know the numbers. But he has charming good looks, so he's too hot to be a murderer. We can just pretend he's not a murderer. Señora Acero is the story of Sara Aguilar Bermudez, a woman who has finally reached happiness in life. She has her son, the love of her life, and everything she could ask for, whatever that means. But it all changed the day of her wedding. And I appreciate the show Señora Acero for several reasons. There is a strong female lead, and she is a strong and ruthless woman who shows power and strength for her son. That's commendable. You're teaching that you should love your family. But Señora Acero tells the story of Sara Aguilar, who gets pulled into the world of money laundering and corruption after her husband gets killed on the day of their wedding. She seeks vengeance after those who wronged her and caused harm to her family. Sara wasn't aware of her husband's double life and begins to run into old enemies of his as the show progresses. While Sara is a strong female lead, she can be hardly seen as a role model and not the ideal strong lead character that we want, that feminists want out there. You can't find that in telenovelas. She is out seeking vengeance, working with narcos, and chopping people's hands off. I hardly think that we should be, yeah, she's just out chopping people's hands off when she gets mad. It's in one of the first episodes. And then we kind of get confused on what's going on. There's one notable thing in Señora Acero. There are several female LGBTQ characters on the show, which surprised me when I first saw it, because you'd never see that in telenovelas, so it was kind of like, oh, finally! But, okay, however, I applaud them for having diversity. Good job, Telemundo. But all of the characters that are LGBTQ in the show are money laundering, hyper-sexualized, super attractive. They all look like supermodels. Everyone has very voluptuous bodies. They're half naked all the time. They're all drug trafficking women who also murder people regularly and have done time in jail. So they're crazy women, regardless of their sexual orientation. They're crazy. Most of the tough women on this series have done time or are connected to the drug world. And unfortunately, the other female characters are submissive and respond to a stronger male character. And then telenovelas are a topic that can get a room buzzing. You bring up a novela and everyone's like, what? ¿Quién dijo? ¿La malquerida? El señor de la malquerida que se llevó la indomable a la tienda y la tempestad. You can just throw out any name out there and The whole room will start. You could get a whole room fighting or even laughing or crying about a novela. If you're in the right room, given you're in the right room. And then they are iconic staples to the Spanish-speaking American community. While they are meant for entertainment purposes, the audience finds themselves immersed in the dramatic, romance-filled, and hectic fantasy world of the telenovela. People have a hard time distinguishing the reality from the fantasy, and this creates problems in the way the community interacts with each other. Telenovelas play a role in perpetuating ideals to their viewers, but it cannot all just be pinned on them. The media has a major influence in how our society views itself and others, and it is part of the foundational points that create the society. If we choose to follow and believe these ideals, and we become easily manipulated by these, and it becomes a never-ending cycle. I mean, it's up to us to just, hey, that's not right. Maybe we should not believe that. And it's important to remember that telenovelas, they are fun to watch. Start watching them. Pretty sure you can watch them on the internet with subtitles, but they're really fun to watch, even if you don't speak Spanish. This is crazy. It's like one of those like guilty pleasure shows that sometimes you don't want to admit you watch. Like my dad, he's the toughest man, truck driver, macho man, but he will not miss a single episode of his novela. He'll go crazy if he misses it. Anyway, and with that, I will conclude with this quote by Amy Bloom. You are imperfect, inevitably flawed, and you are beautiful. We're all beautiful. We're all imperfect. Nobody's perfect. They don't even look like that. I don't look like that. Nobody looks like that. That's not natural. So, even the actors and actors on those shows are not perfect. It's all a part of being human. But you know what? Novelas are awesome. Regardless of their craziness, you just gotta notice these things when you watch them, and if you still want to watch them, good for you. I cannot watch them. After I wrote this, I've just been analyzing every novela that I have watched, and I can't watch it. I'll start analyzing it, and whoever's watching it with me, I'll be like, did you notice that there's no strong female characters in the show? And they're like, shut up, Jasmine, shut up, I don't want to know. I'm like, okay. Did you see that? No. Oh, okay. Did you see how they didn't show her? They didn't show her because they would have been. Did you notice that her gay best friend is like super flamboyantly gay? They're like, shut up, Jasmine. They don't. Nobody wants to know. Well, anyway, that's it. That's my presentation. Thank you so much for watching.